Welcome to the Coaches Show here on the Spartan Digital Network, joined by Coach Ira Stickson once again. Coach, new week upon us. Last week we had our first game of the season. You guys traveled down to a real tough customer down at Point Lookout. Number 8 ranked College of the Ozarks in Division II. Tough game, tough opponent to start things out, but it really came down to the first quarter. College of the Ozarks goes on a 10-1 run. But outside of that, looking through the stats and everything and the way the game progressed, you have to be really pleased with how your team played.
Yeah, I am. I'm definitely pleased. And again, it was expected. Long trip down there. Last minute transportation reorganization there. But we made it and we got there. And I think the first 10 minutes was basically just to get our feet wet, get an idea of what to expect and things like that. And, they had 2 games under their belt, and this was our first one. So I think that first 10 minutes was an eye-opener a little bit, and we were able to make some adjustments and, compete in the rest.
Looking through everything, completely even, and this was something that teams struggled with a little bit last year, but even on rebounds, 43 apiece. Really shows that there have been some improvements made and some concentration made on the offensive and defensive boards. Talk a little bit about that and what you're really pushing with the team this year.
Absolutely. That was one of the things that we struggled with last year was rebounding. One, giving up second chance opportunities to our opponents, and 2, us not creating those second chance opportunities. That made a big difference in some of our losses that we had last year. And that was one of the things that we stressed coming into this year was that we've got to rebound, both on the offensive end and defensive end. We've got to do a better job, and that could change some things for us.
Turnovers still a little bit of plaguing for the team a little bit this year. Looking over at everything from last week, 23 turnovers in that game, and I know that's something that just frustrates you to no end. And you and I have talked about that off camera a lot, but that's something that has been kind of creeping its ugly head up here and there. Talk about what you're going to be able to do now to correct that going into this game against Missouri Valley this week.
Well, turnovers, you're right. It's been one of those thorn in our sides, and those are things that we need to address and work on. A lot of those turnovers that we had last night was, or in our game against College of the Ozarks, was self-imposed. And I think it was a little bit of the jitterness. I think it's just a little bit of, this is the first time we saw them and really trying, like I said, getting our feet wet and, a little bit of nervousness. Mm-hmm. And I think what we saw from that is that we really need to take care of the ball, do a better job of taking care of the ball. And those are things that we will work on.
Looking through some of your top players, Jerica Hawkins, what a great game for her to start with. 20 points, that's a new career high for her. She had 3 blocks in that game, that's also a career high, and her first double-double of the season. How good was Jerica?
Jerica was a major impact for us in that game, and like I had said before, she has been doing well in practice, and she showed it out there in the game, and I hope that she continues to do that because I think that's going to really set us apart from some of our opponents in trying to shut us down and trying to figure out how to guard us.
Really, just a quick note: 82% free throw percentage in that game. That is just an unbelievable way to start the season, and not just Taylor Klingelhoefer. It was Kennedy Smith. She went 7 of 8 from the line too. Mm-hmm. That's a big lift when you're going down the stretch into tight games. Again,
all of these things are things that we stress. Making our free throws, taking care of the ball. We set team goals for each game. And shooting a percentage of 75% or better is one of those goals, taking care of the ball. And so we work on that every day in practice, shooting free throws. And we also work on taking care of the ball, but, sometimes you can't always have your cake and eat it too. So, we'll work on continuing to achieve those goals, but we will continue to set them as well. So.
First game out with the new rules set forth by the NCAA and NAIA. I wasn't down there last week. Talk about the new rules and how it impacted the game.
From a defensive standpoint, it definitely changed the game. It was a lot of, just they're on it. which makes us, we have to do a better job defensively. Now with going into, you get your fifth foul or fifth team foul, and you're in the bonus, and
that's in the quarter.
And that's in the quarter.
And it resets every quarter,
and it
right?
resets. Of course, it doesn't reset for the player, which I would love, but that's really something that we're going to look at. From that game, is that we've got to do a better job, be more disciplined in our defense, because we can't have the 30 plus fouls in a game. That just can't happen.
Right.
We can't keep sending our opponents to the line and things like that. So discipline and defense is going to be a huge factor based on the fact that with these new rule changes, and they are calling the games more closely.
Coming up this week, another road game. You guys are road warriors so far this season.
Yeah.
The first, I believe, 5-6 games, all on the road throughout the entire month of November. You're all over the place, and this week you're going to be in Marshall, Missouri for Missouri Valley. What does Missouri Valley do well, and what are you preparing for in order to stop it?
Missouri Valley, a good team. They transition well. They like to get in there and penetrate and kick, and so we're going to have to be able to, step up our transition defense, being able to find the ball and stop the ball, eliminate penetration, and contest every shot. We do those things, take care of the ball, and transition ourselves, and we give ourselves a chance.
Who was one player that stood out so far that you think is really going to have a good week this week?
Again, I go back to Jerica. She had a great game last week, and we're expecting the same from her. We're also expecting, the bigs, Kennedy Smith and Maddie White, who were on the boards for us, to really step up. Taylor Klingerhafer, who's our leading scorer, we're expecting her to have a breakout game, hopefully, and as well as everybody else that get into the game, they're expecting to make an impact, and that's what we're looking for.
Jerica Hawkins, 37 minutes in Game 1. She's going to be a real impact player this year. That's Coach Ira Dixon. I'm Brad Seigan. Glad to have you here with us. Stay tuned to watch this team play down in Marshall, Missouri, and we will have it for you on the Spartan Digital Network, all produced down there by the Missouri Valley Vikings. So for all of us here at Spartan Digital Network, we'll see you next week.